Hello dear viewers, time to make a bard for the Oblivion class restoration project. This time I went more to the roleplay side, making most of the choices and decisions according to the archetype. Not everything is therefore perfectly optimized for game-breaking power, and that's very weird and I feel strange, but there is one nice combo of a spell and an enchantment. The bard is a supporter character, but still with some decent duelist skills. She can be extremely fast and agile when the need arises, but prefers to buff her follower with a spell and a song. Her natural inclination towards lavish food and good drink also pushed her towards some considerable alchemy practice, which she uses both to buff herself and her friends. With the use of Bards Reborn, the Student of Song mod, we will also have access to spell songs. They are long-lasting multi-effect spells buffing you and your allies. With a few of them increasing our skills and regeneration, I didn't need to care that much about optimizing enchantments and crafting. Alchemy is a class skill for the Oblivion Bard though, so I had some very good multi-effect potions as well. But many useful buffs came from those spell songs. Yes, you have to actually stand still and play an instrument for a few seconds to cast them, so you get yourself exposed to attacks, but luckily Odin has an answer to that. You can simply cast a calming rune in front of you, play your magic tune, and even if someone tries to bother you, they will just chill and listen to the music. With her ability to influence people, she exceeds against living enemies. When facing any other danger, she focuses on supporting her follower or buffs herself with alchemy and tries to remain mobile throughout the entire encounter. Other than alchemy, I didn't really maximize any crafting. Some unperked smithing and enchanting was used, but I tried to focus on my speech perks and buy as many good enchanted items as possible. As your collection of these items grows, you should treat your follower as a part of the build and equip them well without wasting a single item slot. For now, here's the list of mods. We have Vokrii, Summer Mist, Bards Reborn and Odin. Only 2 Odin spells were frequently used, but they were rather important. Immersive Speechcraft and Honed Metal could be useful for immersion and some additional power, but they are completely optional. Field Medic mod, allowing us to inject our follower with the potions we create, can improve the supporter playstyle considerably, but again, not really essential. Lastly, I could also suggest a little SKSE mod called Unarmed Hotkey. It allows you to easily switch between a sword and spell stance and a single one-handed weapon stance without overpowering spell swords at all. When it comes to fashion, I used a little mod called Ragged Rogue Outfits. The armor rating of this armor is rather low, not that much of a problem with both some smithing and the movement speed we will eventually build up. The glass sword is retextured with a little mod called Glass Blades. Then we also have Cloaks and Capes, and the wearable loot comes from Bards Reborn. For the race, I choose an Imperial because the voice of the Emperor power fits the character and allows us to use an illusion effect even before we get any spells. For the stone, we need to go with the efficient choice of the Lord or the Atronach. And the attributes ratio really gave me a little bit of a headache. In the end, you should have something like 2 points of stamina and 2 of magicka for every 3 in health. Most of our spells will be rather cheap. We can increase our attributes with potions as needed. For the major skills, we have Alchemy, Block, Illusion, Light Armor, One-Handed and Speech. In Alchemy, we need a few perks on the left-hand side up to Adrenaline, so we will have our beneficial potions improved and both our movement speed and regeneration will be buffed when under the influence of a potion or food. Mobility is a vital part of the combat style, supported further by the Light Armor perks and allowing for easier switch between close combat and casting spells from the distance. Since our attributes will never be particularly impressive, regenerating them will also be rather important. Some most frequently used potions had magicka regeneration or health regeneration effects. In Light Armor, we prioritize the perks that will go well with our Adrenaline speed bonus, so Agility, Windrunner and Untouchable. Evasive Sprint is also great to stay alive for longer. With this speed perk collection and a strong tanky friend at your side, you will be able to control the battlefield very well. Join in the fight when needed, run around your enemies, flanking, outrunning, outmaneuvering. Other perks, those in the middle, will be nice to have, but your armor rating will remain relatively low regardless of whatever you do. Because of our swift and agile combat style, we also need to get the block runner perk in the block tree rather fast, and quick reflexes as well. Then the weapon block on the left and the bash improving perks on the right will also be very useful. If you stay with the character for longer and have most of your other skills perked, you can go for Poke the Dragon and Dragon Tail perks. Frankly, since you will also be casting spells and sprinting to avoid all damage, you don't have as many chances to trigger Poke the Dragon and Dragon Tail benefits. In one-handed, take the sword perks. Execute will improve one little combo, I will talk about in a minute. Then the power attack perks on the rightmost side up to Furious Strength will help you to use your stamina more efficiently. Then Illusion, I had a little bit of a problem choosing perks here. I mostly used Courage and Calm spells, but in order to improve Courage and Rally in Vokrii, you have to perk all the other mind-affecting spells as well. In the end, Fear spells turned out to be quite useful at times, especially when surrounded, so it was only one wasted perk point in the end. Fury spells, though, not really her style, I didn't think, and neither are the command spells from Odin. This is the stuff for some Master Illusionist as far as I'm concerned. Meanwhile, I only really needed the stuff that can allow me to play a supporter role for my follower. For this very reason, I didn't take any of the more advanced perks, adding some extra effect to the mind-affecting spells like Lamp to the Slaughter or Paralyzing Fear. I also purposely avoided Master of the Mind. Again, this is not an illusionist mage. You will have some offensive spells and decent enough fighting abilities to deal with the undead and automatons in a more direct fashion. The Animage will be useful, but I think 2 ranks is enough, since we mostly use cheap, low-level spells and therefore can use dual casting perk to increase their effectiveness when needed. Lastly, we have Speech, which I perked quite heavily, mostly because roleplay. I just thought a bard should be good with speaking to people. Granted, the barter-related perks will help us to get the spells and enchantments with more ease. As mentioned, equipping your companion will be rather important too, but you can definitely skip Master Trader and Fence. Private stock is nice. Sometimes I got some cool spell books from blacksmiths, like what? But still, nothing that you cannot do without these perks. Bribery and Eloquent were taken just because bards should have them. Ignore them if you wish to be really efficient. And now for the items. To minimize the crafting, I only enchanted my lovely coat, boots and gloves as they come unenchanted. The chest piece and the boots both have the Windfall enchantment, which isn't OP at all. It gives you a 3% chance every second to recover a skill-dependent amount of any of the 3 attributes. If you ever played Dungeons and Dragons, you will know how much it changes things when you can roll d20 twice and keep the better result. So that's why it occupies 2 slots. The gloves have some more fortify one-handed, just to stay in the business against the tougher enemies. Illusory Burden enchantment on our glass sword was applied via unperked enchanting with some enchanter's elixir, but if you play long enough, you should find a good sword with this enchantment in a chest or a shop. The enchantment is a component of our main combo with 1 Odin spell, so here's the list of frequently used spells. Discordant Wail Odin spell temporarily removes 100 HP from a given enemy. If you have the Magicka, you can use the stronger version of it, Dirge, which removes 200. If you start by drinking your best Fortify one-handed potion, strike an enemy with your Illusory Burden sword, which removes a quarter of their current health, then cast Dirge at them. From there, your Execute perk should take the lead, dealing 10 times critical damage with each power attack. It means that in a few swift moves you can take down a Draugr Overlord, which means the build will be viable even when traveling alone and even on higher difficulties. As mentioned, Calming Rune was used to play your spell songs more safely. The spell song of Vigor increases stamina and magicka regen, spell song of Battle increases weapon skills, and the spell song of Endurance improves armor and magic resistance. All spell songs work on you and your allies, which is why I had to combine it with the Bardic Knowledge Black Book power to get even more stamina regeneration for the team. It's actually 50% more stamina regeneration. It's a huge boon, and I almost forgot it existed. As the Oblivion bards were also alchemists, I used plenty of potions to buff pretty much every aspect of the build, and tried never to embark on any more serious adventure without a good batch of them. Just a few examples. To make her a better spellcaster, I had a potion restoring magicka, increasing magicka regeneration, and fortifying illusion. You can make it with some garlic, mora tapinella, and dwemer oil. To become a better fighter, I had a potion increasing both light armor and block skills, made out of a honeycomb, a beehive husk, and some tundra cotton. Plenty of elemental resistance potions and health regeneration potions were used both on my character as well as on Mjol, because I had field medic installed. And yes, all of Mjol's gear is enchanted, both her health and her stamina were increased as much as possible, and she had jewelry absorbing health and stamina from enemies around her. Also, some frost resistance to protect her stamina pool, and fire hazard on her sword, so that she leaves little patches of flames in front of her, dealing damage over time to anyone she is currently in a fight with. So, what do you think? Is this a decent bard build, or is this a decent bard build? Seems quite cool to me. Also, I must say, as far as vanilla faces go, she is rather attractive. I'm only mentioning it because I've been struggling with female faces for all my Elder Scrolls years. Oftentimes, guys would turn out looking more feminine than my female characters, and mostly when I actually didn't want them to look feminine at all. But this girl seems really okay. She looks a little bit concerned all the time for some reason, but I would definitely let her.
So we removed 9 million videos. We're not going to recommend it.
Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, ring the bell, come back later because the battle mage should be awesome, and we will see each other again. Bye. Bye.
There's a lot of content that technically meets the spirit of what we're trying to do, but it's borderline.